Hi, welcome to episode 1.
Keep going again.
Okay, episode 1 of the Intermediate Slog Vlog. I'm Christie.
I'm Sam.
And tonight we're just going to first introduce the vlog and each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to eat some gas station food.
Perfect.
Okay.
Should I mute my phone?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to introduce me first or do you want me to introduce you?
Introduce me
Okay.
first.
Okay, I can do it. This is Samuel James Peary. He was born June 30th, 1973 in Logan. Is that right?
That's not right.
I think every
That's a little
time...
bit too much information.
I think every time you get a fact wrong, you should conk each other in the head. That wasn't wrong, though.
It was too.
No, it
I wasn't
wasn't.
born in 1973.
1974. Okay, this is Samuel James Peary.
My social security number.
He was born on June 30th, 1974 in Logan, Utah. He led a charmed childhood, attending such learning institutions as Hillcrest Elementary, Faulkner Ridge Elementary, Edgemont Elementary, Canyon Crest Elementary, Fair Junior High, Tippview High School, BYU, where he got a degree in recording arts and a degree got an MBA. Yeah. He has been a VP of Awesomeness, Marketing Excellence. He CEO of Amazingness in the business world. He also is very talented with the playing of the bass and music and singing, and he has 2 sons and a lovely wife and lives in Lehi, Utah.
That's right.
And he likes cool jazz and movies.
Food. Sleep.
His likes are sleeping and audiobooks.
Yeah.
He's recently taken the deep dive into audiobooks, where he's the voice of all the characters. I feel like
That's
I'm
right.
on a ship, like I keep
That's
rocking back. Okay, that's called self-soothing.
Self-soothing.
When you do this sort of thing because you're nervous.
It's not going well. Huh?
No.
There's
There's another one right here. Okay.
This is Christie Joanne Peary, Skousen.
Yeah, Skousen.
Christie Joanne Skousen, but Christie Joanne Peary Skousen.
Yeah.
And she was born on December 12th, 1972.
I want to. That was harder than I intended.
She attended the illustrious schools that were previously listed.
Went to the same schools.
Except for BYU. She veered off the golden path and went to Peabody Conservatory, which is part of Johns Hopkins University. Very prestigious, hoity-toity. And where we had studied, you missed. We had studied at the Peabody Conservatory when we were fledgling. You know, I was 8 and you were whatever.
That's true.
10. And so she returned and studied with Leon Fleischer and played excessive amounts of piano, from what I hear. I mostly missed your whole college.
It's where I really shone.
I realized that. I know.
It's a
like
bummer.
You played all these concerts and I was serving a mission.
That was like the peak.
I know. And you had to learn like tons of stuff every week, right? I mean, just like...
It's a lot of
You
pressure.
never really told me much about that, but I gathered little bits that you had to like come with like brand new pieces every single week.
That's true.
Perfected, and
inspired.
I think that's neat.
It was
And then I didn't even know like you took a conducting. I mean, it makes sense, but you took a conducting class.
For sure.
You had to conduct the orchestra.
I loved it.
I never got a chance to do that. I took a conducting class, but we just conducted each other. We didn't really.
You would have been good at that.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And she married Thomas Skousen. I'm not going to attempt to say the year. It was 19. No, I am going to attempt it. 19. Here it goes. 98.
Ding.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were married 1996.
That's right.
Whoa! I just pulled it out of my mind.
Wow.
Wow.
And yeah, and then you lived in Utah for a while, moved to California, where you had your home for, sit up straight, for many years.
19 years.
19 years in Northern California, in the beautiful, low variance climate paradise of Los Altos and Palo Alto.
I never lived in Palo Alto.
And Los
but
Altos
Mom would
and
always
Mountain
write it
View.
on the Christmas card that I did.
Mountain View.
Correct.
And Los
Los
Altos.
Altos.
And just recently has returned to the promised land of Utah with some trepidation and sadness. But
It's good.
it's good.
It's cool. It's
So
soup's
that's-
cool.
And you have 4 beautiful children.
They are beautiful.
Your crowning achievement.
In the face and in the heart.
That's right.
Well, that's a little bit about Sam and I.
We're at 10 minutes, aren't we? That was long.
No, we're at 6:36.
Oh, wow.
But we can wrap this up pretty quick. This vlog is called the Intermediate Slog, which is kind of the space between the beginning and ends of things. It's just after the romance phase and just before the kind of acceptance and settled phase. Kind of where most of life lies.
Is this a real thing? Like
No, I made that part up.
clinical psychology
Well,
or anything?
it comes across in many different things. I've heard it in a marriage seminar, but they had different terms for it. They called this part the messy middle. There was a romantic phase, the messy middle, and then settled. And then I also hear Dave Ramsey talk about it on his financial show as kind of the habits, and then you are working in the middle, which is kind of, you're budgeting and saving, and it's kind of the work, and then you're in this place where you can give at the end, where you're settled. And then in my piano school, we do habits, players, givers, and players is kind of the intermediate slog. It's kind of after the romance of the initial setting of something has kind of worn thin, and you're just about the work, and that's kind of middle age, as I feel.
Yeah.
So
It
if you
is.
could keep the work going, maybe we have the acceptance, the happy acceptance in the future.
Yes. Do you feel like you're in that period in terms of your life?
Yes.
Or career?
Sure.
Or both?
Both, everything. I'm slogging it right now.
No, I
How
do.
about you?
In my life, I'm definitely in a middle-age crisis right now.
Really?
Well, yeah.
How so?
Oh, I'm just trying to figure out what to do next, and I
Yeah.
haven't enjoyed the last 20 years much.
You have not.
No, not professionally,
Oh.
and so I'm trying to figure out what to do there. So I definitely don't feel like I'm in the middle of a lifelong career and that it will come to fruition.
Right.
I feel like I'm choosing a different path because the path I chose was not filled with fulfillment.
And we do want it filled with fulfillment.
That's right. But I
What?
do feel like I'm in that stage in life,
Right. Me too.
in general, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I mean, I'm definitely in the middle, in the mess of things, but I'm figuring it out. It's good.
I think that's where I'm trying to land too, is that the kind of the sloggy part is just, the key is to just embrace it.
Yeah.
And I think we tend to always hope for the romantic phase or to be in the settled or acceptance phase. And the fact of the matter is that life is probably 80% the slog.
For sure. Well, I mean, the romantic phase is... Sorry, I should have turned off my
Probably
phone.
Mom. Do you agree?
Probably. Shoot. I don't know. It's kind of late to be texting. But, no, I was going to say, the romantic phase seems to be where you have certain expectations,
Yes. Yes.
and then those expectations are typically not met in some way.
Yep.
And so then you're left dealing with the reality.
This is the reality.
And I think that does happen in relationships, and it happens in life. I mean, that's my experience with life. I had certain expectations and things that didn't turn out the way I thought in a number of areas, and then you're left to like, okay, what now? And in my case, the process I'm going through is learning to listen to myself, learning to kind of listen to my intuition and trust it more, which is very difficult.
Why do you think it's difficult? Just because you haven't practiced doing it, or you don't? I mean, what process is there of finding your own voice and being able to hear it?
Well, I think, you take, for example, career. In my case, at least for the past 20 years, I've been the breadwinner, and Emily's been at home. And so it's very difficult, because once you get on a track, if you're the sole provider, it's very difficult to get off that track.
Do any changes.
And so if what your intuition is telling you to do something else, it's very scary and threatening, both from just a practical financial perspective, but also from a security perspective. I mean, like your ego is on the line to a large degree, right? Because you've kind of built an identity doing something, and now you're looking at potentially building an identity doing something else, and are you going to be successful, and what will it look like if you fail? I mean, I get caught up on what other people think, which I know cognitively that, like, people don't really care. You know what I mean?
Right.
We all tend to think that
Nobody
people
cares.
care more about our lives than they really do.
Right.
And so, but I really get caught up on that all the time. Like, what will people think, or how will this look? And I have to constantly remind myself, like, oh, it doesn't really matter, right? And there is some reality to that, especially in a community like Utah, where everybody's, the vast majority are Mormon, and there are certain cultural expectations that go along with that, and there's a certain level of magnification you face. And so there is some, with what I've been going through now, I do feel like, it hasn't been extreme, it's been very subtle, but you feel looked down upon a little bit. Like, if you're doing something different, and if you're veering off the path a little bit, people get a little concerned, or things like that. So I think there's some part of that that's real, but that's usually not as big as I make it in my mind.
So how do you metabolize that and recognize it but still go forward? Do you just look at it and then just try and ignore it, or you try and rewrite your frame, or?
I think for me it's been a little bit doing it consciously, in terms of just looking at it and choosing to not regard it, or to reframe it, right? So you're kind of like I was just talking about, where it's like people don't really care as much as you think,
Right,
so
just
just
talk
you
yourself
reframe
through
it. And then part of it is, I don't know, I remember when I turned 40, I had, it was actually an interesting birthday for me, because I was like, I realized I was really pretty happy, contented with my life at that point. I was still in the corporate world, and it wasn't perfect, but I remember thinking, kind of like, you just need to be happy with your life and confident in yourself, because it goes by so fast. You know what I mean? So part of it's a time thing, and you realize, geez, there's only so much time I have left, really, right? That's the whole middle life crisis.
Yeah.
Half of my life is gone, and what am I going to do with the second half? And and so that gives you, I think, an extra degree of confidence, or bravery in my case, to kind of just trust yourself and say, I might as well enjoy the next 20 years.
Right.
Instead of, even if it is messy and doesn't look the right way externally, that I'll be happier. And so far that's proven to be true, even though our lives are kind of a mess in terms of, looking at it from career and providing for the family, and, temporal prosperity. It's a bit of a mess, but I'm a lot happier, right? So
That's good.
yeah. Totally.
Is Emily happier too?
I think so.
That's really good. High five. That's great. I think our viewers, should write a comment.
Sorry, keep going.
Our viewers should write a comment about what kind of intermediate slog they're experiencing right now and how that's going.
Yes.
Now let's eat some gas station food.
Perfect segue. Yes.
So one of the things, one of our things we're going to explore on the intermediate vlog, some of the things that bring us joy, are gas station food. I love gas station food.
That
for
brings
real.
you joy? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like you just, okay.
We're going to just pick different
It's
ones
not that
and
it
try
doesn't
it.
bring me joy, but I don't know if I've ever really thought of it that way. I mean, when you say gas station food, are you talking about the food that you can uniquely, exclusively get at the gas station?
Not
because you can
uniquely or
get
exclusive.
Red Vines or, whatever,
I
anywhere.
mean, you could do that, but no, I mean
But
like
does
the
that-
weird,
Okay.
like,
Like
okay,
the stuff
so,
that's exclusive to gas stations.
well, I mean, we can eat whatever when we do this segment, and if you
Okay.
want to suggest if our
This
viewers
is going
want
to
to
be an ongoing segment.
for sure.
Okay.
There's so much more gas station food than
There
this.
is.
So I chose banana cake by
Banana cake.
somebody
How is
Moe's.
that different than banana bread? It has frosting.
Well, let's try.
Let's
Now I
try
want
it.
you to see that I'm really breaking
You
my
have a
rules
knife or
because I
anything?
normally don't eat after 4,
Yeah, that's right.
but I'll do it for the vlog.
This is going to be great, like heartburn tonight.
I've been waiting all day to eat this banana cake.
Oh, nice.
Okay, you have a bite
I'm
and I'll
not
have
sure.
a bite.
I'm not sure I'm gonna eat the whole thing. I'm gonna tear off a piece.
It's really,
You notice how I eat the frosting first. That's my style. I probably won't finish the rest.
that has some nice banana flavor. It's real moist.
Yeah, the frosting kind of blends in
What do you mean?
with the cake. Like the taste
Oh,
was
because
very
it's
similar.
so moist. Oh,
And the taste was similar. It was good.
I think it's
It is very
delicious.
moist, yeah. Oh, it's worth the wait.
I'm a fan. Okay.
This episode is sponsored by.
Diet Coke. The next
Ginger
one I
lime.
chose was called the
Gosh.
Cheese Witch.
I'm not sure about this one.
Yes. The
Ugh,
next one I
don't
chose
know if I
is the
can do
Cheese Witch. You gotta do it.
Steal your nerves. So, the Cheese Witch. 1 slice of hearty salami, 2 slices of Colby Jack cheese. Ready to eat. You don't have to microwave it.
It's just ready. You couldn't really tear into it easily, so I just used the skizzers.
You know, this is a keto dream, actually. If you're on a keto or paleo diet,
Oh my
I
gosh,
should
it's
say,
literally,
I should say keto. If you're a purist paleo, the salami probably wouldn't go over well, but
literally
Or the
a
dairy,
piece of
honestly, but-
sandwich cheese.
it's just cheese.
That's delicious. I
Cheese
love it.
with salami. Wow.
There's nothing better.
I do this at home, actually. Do you know that? I'll do cheese and we do tootaloots. You know what a tootaloot is? Where you do the cheese with a piece of cold cut meat.
This is.
And you roll it up.
Oh yeah. Thomas does that with some cucumber. That's seriously delicious combined with the banana cake. Do you agree? You do. Anyway.
I mean, there's a very sick, depraved part of me that thinks that's pretty good. But let's not dwell on it.
That was delicious.
This was my choice. This is my style.
That looks
It's
homemade.
This thing busts me up. It's a cookie. It just has a Reese's peanut butter cup smashed into it.
You're
What's
saying
up with that?
You're
And
saying
there's
it's
like
2
another one
desserts
on
in
the end.
one.
Which is just right down my alley, but it's really bizarre. Anyway,
I can't wait to eat that.
that's delicious. I get to eat that part of it.
What?
You can have the little end part.
Huh?
No, that's the whole reason I got this puppy. And this really is my style of gas station food. Usually, they used to have.
That looks homemade, legit.
Did you ever know the grandma? What were they? The pink cookies.
Just a
And you can
lady
buy
in
it
our
now. They're
ward.
like mass produced. They're not as good. They're not as big. I mean, they're still good. They still have kind of a similar taste, but.
Are you gonna eat your
But
banana
you
cake?
used to be able. You can have it. You used to be able to. You used to be able to buy those, and they deliver them fresh every day, and they're nice and big. I remember getting them in high school.
The lady
Those
in
were
our
the
ward made them.
best.
you remember that?
Those were the best. Okay.
Oh my god.
I'm just going straight for the smushed peanut butter cup piece. That's delicious. I can just tell.
I'm going for just a regular piece. That's delicious. Which was your favorite?
This is my style. Followed by the slamwich, or the cheese witch.
Okay. Please comment.
Mm-hmm. What gas station food would you like us to eat?
Mm-hmm. I'll eat anything.
This is great. I'm sure people really want to see me eating.
Hazel will.
That's
Okay,
good.
till next time.
For posterity.
This intermediate vlog, Slog, signing off.
Cheers.
Uh-oh.
No, I was like gonna do the.
I know, but it was in my mouth.